All right, so you got a drum set. Now what? The best thing to do is I would find a teacher, or at least a friend that plays the drums, just so it can give you a head start on how to actually play. Some places to find teachers, much like finding a drum set, you can go to Craigslist. There's people posted all the time wanting to find students to teach. The MySpace Music Classifieds, also a really great place to find a teacher. Once again, local listings in your local newspaper is also a great place. Also, just go to music shops. It's a great place to find information on bands. There's always like a bulletin board right in the entryway about bands playing, venues, teachers, also kits. So there's all sorts of things. So you find a teacher, and another thing on that. Another thing, just like buying a drum set again, is if you get a local recommendation or somebody that knows somebody, it's really important to find a teacher that you can actually connect with, because it's easier to take direction from somebody you know and you can trust. And I personally find it easier to learn from someone that I've previously known or a recommendation from a friend. So once you find a teacher, unless you can practice in your house, you have to find someplace to practice. And in a big city, that can be kind of tough. So here in LA, I've opted to go and find another band with a practice space, and then we just share it, cut the rent right in half, which I think is the best way to do it. Of course, if you can find somebody's garage to play in for free, that might be the way to go. So once you got your teacher, practice space, you've been practicing for a while, you've hooked up with a band, a few tips on your first gig. A lot of the times a venue is going to offer free alcohol, which is cool, but learn to take it in moderation, because while you might think you're playing like a rock star, people that are sober might have a different opinion. Also, other things you might want to bring to your first venue are a gig bag, which would include more sticks, because sticks will break. You want to include washers and little parts for your drum set, for your cymbals. You want a gig tool, which has like Allen wrenches on it, a drum key for tuning your drums, which is also very important. And anything else you would need, spare heads, anything that could go wrong, I would prepare for on your first gig. Okay, so one more thing to remember when you're practicing the drums is don't practice fancy. Don't practice as fast as you can. And don't just sit here and try to do drum soloing all the whole practice segment. What you want to do, especially when you start, is practice as simply and as solid as you possibly can. Learn something slow and learn it solid, and then once you're 100% comfortable with it, then speed it up until you get really comfortable, and then you can start adding more things. Because like I was saying, the number one thing you want to do as a drummer is to hold the time, hold the tempo for the rest of the band, because if you get off, everybody else gets off. And then so it's your number one duty to just hold that time no matter what. And so one way to do that, of course, is to practice with a metronome. You can get them now really cheap. They have a clip, go right on your belt, and you can pick whatever beat you want. And what I use is sound deadening headphones, which cuts out a great amount of noise, so you can really just hear that click. And just play to a click. Just play a straight beat if you want. And what I've done in the past and what I do now is I'll just pick a click and I'll just play that same beat for 5, maybe even 10 minutes, just to get that beat to the point where someone was saying, play this certain beat, I could just play it perfectly on time, anytime, all the time. And so metronome really helps. Also, something with these sound deadening headphones, you can just use an MP3 player, an iPod, and just listen to your favorite songs and just play those, and you can hear it really well because it cuts out a lot of the noise. And another thing to do, kind of an exercise, is to put your music on random and just let it play. And because a lot of times you get caught into playing just whatever you want to play, whatever songs you want to play. But if you just put it on random and force yourself, maybe a half hour or an hour a day, just sit there and play whatever comes up, whether it's just jazz or even like a movie soundtrack. Just try to make something up. It'll really open up a lot of doors and things that you've never tried before, and it's actually a really fun and rewarding exercise, I think.